And Chairman Benham, thank you for being here. This is the lead story in a lot of places, including on the front page of the Wall Street Journal this morning. Anticipate that a company would say, hey, these were some rogue actors who were doing this. In this case, you lay out in the complaint that this went straight to the top, to CZ himself. You have commentary or an exchange from one VIP team member who was trying to court some of these U.S. market players saying, hi, CZ, I went through a list of affected API clients. It includes a number of large strategic accounts, including, redacted here, a Chicago headquartered trading firm who is currently a top 5 client and 12% of our volume. Zhao's response to that is give them a heads up to ensure they don't connect from a U.S. IP, don't leave anything in writing. They have non-U.S. entities. Let's also make sure we don't hit the biggest market makers with that email first. Do you have Signal, which is a way of privately transacting messages back and forth that you can't track? If that's the case, if this went straight to the top, what would an appropriate punishment be?
Well, as you know, we're a civil enforcement agency, and I think to your point, and something that has been pretty well known in the crypto circles now is that, and I've said this in my statement yesterday, not having a headquarters, not having a location is not going to prevent the CFTC from coming after you. And in this particular case, as I said before, there was a clear evasion. And when we looked at the entities, it is a common enterprise, dozens and dozens of entities scattered across the globe with control persons up to Mr. Zhao. And when you have that situation where you have a control person of a common enterprise, I think there's clear potential liability that we saw. And as you pointed out, clear documentation of an intent to evade law with a very clear, direct method of saying, this is what we need to do to evade U.S. law so that we can have access to the market. So we feel pretty confident in this case. Obviously, something that we care about deeply and that we've been on top of for several years in this crypto space. I've been on the show with you talking about a lack of authority for the CFTC in the commodity crypto space, and I think this just demonstrates the need for clear rules, but also authority so that we can avoid situations like this and make sure that we're creating transparent markets so that U.S. customers are not subject to fraud or manipulation.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And guys, we have the CFTC head on the Binance lawsuit. And guys, when you listen into the alphabet, you gotta listen closely. We know Binance has no offices in the United States, but the CFTC has access to some emails. And guys, we know it's only 3 ways that you can get those emails. 1, if you did something illegal in order to get it yourself, or if you already had a mole on the inside to hand you those documents. And 3rd, it's an orchestrated event from the beginning. And you know what the Crypto Teacher is going to tell you. It's an orchestrated event from the beginning. Remember, this legacy market is going to collapse, and they have to have someone to blame, and they know it's crypto. So while the masses are distracted, they'll be moving the money in the back door, so therefore they can build a 4th industrial revolution. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And the CFTC states that this dates all the way back to 2019. And of course, guys, this is 2023, and he stated they were acting swiftly, but they just happened to bring the lawsuit at the time we're having a banking crisis. Remember, guys, your life is an illusion, and TV is your reality.
Good morning, Becky. Good to be with you and Joe. And as you pointed out, over several years, we've found that Binance has been evading U.S. law, offering derivatives to U.S. customers and intentionally evading requirements to register with the CFTC as both a broker, as an exchange for both swaps, futures, and options. So this has been a long-going practice. It's a clear, intentional method to evade law. And because they're offering to U.S. customers, we felt like this was an important case to bring and sending a clear message across to crypto exchanges and crypto participants across the world.
Binance and others have said that they would welcome regulation that allows for a clear path. But I think some of the things that you laid out in these charges that you're putting forth are more than just kind of accidentally wandering into a violation of the law. This looks like it was pretty orchestrated, at least from what you've put out.
Yeah, in the complaint, it's pretty clear that this was, to use your word, orchestrated, and there was an intent to evade U.S. law. And there are communications that are documented in the complaint as well about how to evade, a virtual private network or create a VPN to get around the barriers with the internet to have U.S. customers access these markets across the globe. And different entities set up overseas with really not much in terms of funds coming from non-U.S. entities, U.S. control persons involved. And it seems to be a pretty classic example of a very clear evasion, a very intentional evasion of U.S. law. And given the volume, given the size of, as you pointed out, Binance in terms of crypto markets and crypto volume, this seemed to be a pretty clear a case of evasion and something that we needed to step in aggressively with and do it as quickly as possible, because this was an ongoing fraud going back to 2019, an ongoing violation of the Commodity Exchange Act. So we felt that we needed to move as quickly as possible.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us. We can see what little tremors do in the financial system. We've seen that the last couple of weeks, which makes us think what a true impasse would mean if something happens here. Given what you're saying and given the response from the White House press secretary, it doesn't seem like we've made any progress since that meeting you had 2 months ago with President Biden.
We've made no progress. And, Joe, you know me, I'm always an optimist. I'm not now. They asked to pass just to raise the debt ceiling. Well, they control the Senate. They can't pass it in the Senate. Even Democrats in the House tell me they would not vote for that. So that's off the table. The president and I met more than 2 months ago. Since that time, he has misled the whole Congress and the country. When we were together at the prayer breakfast, he says we're going to sit down the next day, told the entire Congress that we're going to meet. At the Democratic retreat, he told the Democrats that we were planning meetings. He's never had one meeting. It's been more than 2 months. Time is ticking. Now I'm very concerned about where we are. Look, we've came with an idea of being very reasonable, responsible, to limit, save, and grow. We've picked ideas that Democrats have for. Limit the amount of spending. That's what Joe Manchin says. The outgrowth, non-defense, just cap how fast you can grow. Find savings. We have billions of dollars of unspent COVID money that sat dormant for more than 2 years. You can grab some of that back. Find our ability to grow this economy, through energy. Maybe you do something when it comes to securing our border. Maybe you do work requirements, things that he voted for as a senator, which Bill Clinton put in, for those with no dependents. These are ideas that we have more than $4 trillion in savings. And now the economy is even a worse position because of his extreme spending levels, what they took with all Democrats in power. I am more concerned than I have ever been to be able to get this debt ceiling done, because he refuses to meet with anybody and then misleads the American public, and the markets aren't seeing that.
And guys, we know that main event is heating up, and then also we hear the drums are beating. And you know I gave you a heads up a long time ago when it came to this debt ceiling. They're going to ride it into a crisis. The reason why, guys, remember, once they come into an agreement on this debt ceiling, liquidity is going to be shrinking out of the stock market. We know the NWO caused the problem, wait for the reaction, and run in with the solution. And the politicians know all about the fourth industrial revolution, but they're going to play the Hegelian dialectic. The Republicans say it's the Democrats' fault. The Democrats say it's the Republicans' fault. But when it comes to the NWO's agendas, they're always on the same page. When it came to spending trillions and trillions of dollars that caused all this inflation, they were on the same page. When it came to the C word, they were on the same page. And now that we're having a banking crisis and we know we're going to have a big consolidation, and as these small banks take a hit, we know that's going to affect small businesses. And then small businesses are going to affect employment. And the NWO already has the solution. The robots, algorithms, and drones paying each other with crypto, and the sheep are going inside the metaverse. Get that free money airdrop to them. They have 3 to 6 months to spend it, or poof, it's gone. telling them what, when, and how to buy. And remember, guys, this has already been tested. People sitting at home getting free money. We are one crisis away from the fall of America to Babylon and the United States dollar and the rise of China, the dragon, along with that digital yuan backed by that digital SDR. And remember, the crypto teacher wrote about it and told you about it a long time ago because he knew when it came to the New World Order, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
The letter you say have no interest in brinkmanship, but it seems like both sides are, at least at this point, ready to take it there. And do you see any room for negotiation at all at this point? What if the president, every time you talk to him, what if he says, clean debt? We did it during Trump 2 or 3 times, clean raise. Democrats gave you a clean raise. We want a clean raise. You'll never do that.
Joe, we never did a clean during Trump. You can talk to anybody there. You can talk to Nancy Pelosi. What they did was, we'll raise the debt ceiling if you add more spending. It was an agreement between the two. Joe Biden did this in 2011, the Joe Biden agreement talks. Every time you have a discussion, 74% of the American public wants us to sit down. We're now at a more extreme position that we've ever been with the Democrats in power. They are spending more than in the 50-year average. Normally, we only spend about 21% of GDP. They're up to 23.7. We just had the Congressional Budget Office tell us we're going to have to pay more than $10.5 trillion just in interest in the next 10 years. But in the last 80 years, we have only had to pay $9 trillion interest. We are at a brink point. We now have a banking crisis because of interest rates going up because of the Democrats' extreme spending levels. The Republicans are not playing brinkmanship. I'm not interested in that. I want to sit down. I went to the president at the beginning of February. I told him at the very up front, everything's on the table. Let's talk where we can find ways. Let's see where we can grow this economy. From the very beginning, he told the American public after that meeting, even tweeting, yes, we can work together. He told the Congress, yes, we're going to meet. He told the Democrats at their retreat, oh, I'm going to meet with Kevin. The only difference is he won't ever schedule that meeting. He wants to create a crisis here, and that's what I'm concerned about. The American public has to be warned based upon what this president's doing. If they think they can just raise the debt limit, then why don't they do it in the Senate tomorrow? Because the Democrats won't vote for it either.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
Crypto Teacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing they were still getting that free money, what are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.